Hey guys, here are 5 things I found interesting this week from the world of biology and health. Actually, I'm lying to you. That was me from last week. I'm sick as a dog, so I'm going to do this one without turning my camera on, because right now I look something like this. Anyway, here are 4 interesting things from the last week or so, a few days late and with one fewer item than typical. No joke, one of the questions on my midterm is, why does Professor Berge refuse to go into caves in Uganda? The answer is Marburg virus. Marburg is the lesser-known cousin of Ebola virus, both of which cause extremely deadly hemorrhagic fevers with a fatality rate of up to 90%. Like Ebola, Marburg is spread by Egyptian fruit bats, hence my refusal to go into caves in Uganda. But these bats are found all over Africa, not just Uganda. Uganda has had the most outbreaks of Marburg, but there have also been cases contracted in these countries. Unfortunately, another country can be added to that list. Now there are confirmed cases of Marburg virus in Rwanda for the first time. At present, there's not much info, but we know there are 29 cases so far, and unfortunately 10 deaths. Most of the cases are in and around Kigali, the capital city. This is worrisome because Kigali is a big, well-connected city. The outbreak of Ebola a decade ago was the first to be a proper epidemic, and part of that was because it was the first time Ebola had spread in densely populated cities. Hopefully this Marburg outbreak doesn't take a similar path. There are also cases near the border with Congo and near the border with Uganda and Tanzania. This increases the risk we have a regional epidemic, and in the case of DRC, that there's a spread to a country with a weaker health system. Fortunately, the Rwandan health system is very competent and doing a solid job so far. Unfortunately, there's no vaccine or treatment for Marburg, so I'm hopeful this outbreak can be contained quickly. New York City is famous for pizza, rats, and pizza rat. Now, the city is trying a new tactic in its war on rats: birth control. New York City has launched a pilot program using a product called Contrapest, which limits rats' reproductive capabilities by reducing their fertility. The city hopes that by lowering the birth rate, they can chip away at the rat population without relying on traditional methods like poison and traps. It's certainly more humane and innovative, but I'm skeptical it'll be effective. Rats pose real threats to human health. They carry numerous diseases, including leptospirosis, a bacterial infection that's trending up in New York City. Last year, there were a record number of cases in New York, and I made an entire video about the disease, in which I went on a rat hunt in Manhattan. The real solution to the rat problem is stopping them from getting human food. The city wastes about 6.5 million pounds of food each day, a lot of which ends up in plastic bags on the street. This gives rats plenty to eat. Before he was indicted on federal corruption charges, the mayor of New York City was perhaps best known for his war on rats. Ignoring all the crimes he committed, his lasting legacy may be reducing rat numbers by forcing New Yorkers to use trash cans. I think there are a lot of issues with the trash can plan, but without addressing this fundamental issue, my gut says that no amount of rat birth control will make a lasting impact on our rats. Still, I'm happy the pilot is taking place so we can know for sure. A cure for diabetes may be on the horizon, and how it works is pretty wild. A 25-year-old woman in China had her diabetes effectively reversed after a groundbreaking treatment. The researchers took fat cells from the woman, essentially rewound their development to turn them back into stem cells, and then coaxed them to become islets, the clusters in the pancreas that contain the insulin-producing cells. The woman had type 1 diabetes, so her immune system had been attacking and destroying her original insulin-producing cells. They injected these reprogrammed cells into her abdomen, and remarkably, her diabetes was effectively cured a short time later. She doesn't need insulin injections, and she can eat sugar and hot pot again. This technique was also successfully applied to a man with type 2 diabetes in a study that was published earlier this year. Each of these studies was only focused on a single person, but together they offer hope for diabetics, of which there are an estimated 500 million worldwide. I've worked with these reprogrammed cells in my own research, and it's exciting to think of all the ways they could be used to repair our bodies. Having them as an effective cure for diabetes would be huge. In terrifying climate change news, a hurricane caused biblical-scale flooding in regions in the North Carolina mountains, a full 4-hour drive inland from the coast. Residents have plenty to worry about, and that long list includes pathogens from contaminated floodwaters and drinking waters, things like E. coli, salmonella, and giardia. After Hurricane Florence hit the other side of North Carolina, there was a bump in emergency room visits for bacterial acute gastrointestinal illness. American Indian and Black patients felt the effects most strongly, perhaps because they had been historically pushed into flood-prone land. Thankfully, in the U.S., pathogens after flooding are not a significant cause of mortality. Still, though, we can't afford to be complacent. Asheville, for instance, may be without running water for weeks. Climate change is creating the conditions for more frequent and severe flooding, all while our sanitation infrastructure ages. Thanks again for watching. I was on the road and then sick since the last video, so this episode was a bit late and a bit rushed and a bit shorter than usual, and with a bit less of my face in it. Item number 5 was going to be about Greenland sharks, but I'm too tired. What I would have said was that Greenland sharks live to be super old, like 400 years old, so researchers sequenced their genome to see if it was weird, and indeed it was weird. I won't go into the details, but they found that there was this network of 81 DNA repair genes that were duplicated in these sharks, which makes sense since you would think that 4 centuries would be a long time for DNA to survive, and at the center of this network is a gene called TP53, which suppresses cancer, And famously, elephants have 20 copies of this gene, which makes sense because elephants are real big, so they have a ton of cells, each of which has the potential to start to form cancer. And in conclusion, studying genes like TP53 in old animals and big animals might help us cure cancer in people. That's what I would have said, but I didn't have time this week. Anyway, be sure to subscribe for more biology and health news coming to you every week, if I don't die.